Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview for Computer Business Breakthrough. Today, we're excited to have Troy Anderson, the founder of RepairShopr, on to talk a little bit about where he started before he started. There he is. Where he started before he started RepairShopr. Talk about his transition from fixing computers to starting a service that helps computer business owners, and then we'll dig in a little bit to into some automation stuff and talk about the types of things that RepairShopr does. So welcome, Troy. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks very much for letting me do this.
Yeah, no problem. We're excited to have you on. Most of the folks who will be listening to this have either used or definitely heard of RepairShopr, and I know you guys have a lot of happy customers. So we definitely want to get into how you've gotten this far and kind of the process you went through and your thoughts on all of that stuff. So let's just kind of start off with, if you can tell us a little bit about where you started. I believe you had a computer repair business, so maybe start from there and kind of talk about that business and up to when you started getting the idea of maybe starting RepairShopr.
Yeah. So I'll do a little even before that. I was kind of always into computers, taking them apart, breaking them, that kind of thing, even as a kid. And somehow along high school and, early 20s, I was into computers, but not professionally, just gaming and stuff. But I had tech jobs. Like I worked tech support at Microsoft around the time Windows 2000 was coming out. Worked at Verizon Wireless and technical support. So I had a couple tech jobs. And then, I was fired from Microsoft for using their internal conference system too much with my internet friends. And so I needed something to do. And my dad was like, hey, I'll give you $10,000 to start a computer repair business alone.
Nice.
So I got a van, upgraded from my little car. I got an Astro van, and I got some clipboards and, printed business cards and stuff. And kind of started out like doing family and friends out of my house. I think the first year I only made like $5,000 or $10,000. Like it was, really just trying to figure out what business is and how to make a buck. But it's kind of always into tech and just like to help people. I'd say the early years, that was 2003, and just kept doing it no matter what. Just wanted to make it work. So,
hey, Troy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So in 2003, believe it or not, is when I started Call That Girl unofficially. And my apartment in Minneapolis, I used to live next door to a Geek Squad guy. So their Beetle was really popular in Minneapolis. Did that have any effect on you back then with, because it was starting to become a brand? And did that, have any effect on your business then?
I think they were kind of never on my radar. Like I always knew they existed, but I was doing personal service and just kind of not paying attention to any competitors.
Yeah.
And, the business was never huge. Like I could never afford a bunch of employees or like cool company car or anything. Like the first few years I was making like 50 to 100,000 like gross total. So
really
not making very much money. So
that's cute. Well, back then though, that was a lot of money.
Well, if you're doing $50,000 in a year, but you sold a bunch of computers and had to buy some tools, it's not much left over.
No. So when you were, so you ran your first business from 2000 till about when?
I'd say Dr. PC Fix was an evolution of like 2003 to 2011 for me. So throughout that time, it was out of my home, and then a few years later in a commercial like industrial park, sharing space with my now wife, who wasn't my wife then, but so we got to commercial space, and then we got a retail space, and then we opened a couple retail stores, and we thought we're making a couple $1,000s a month on this one. Let's just get two more, and then we'll make okay money, and that didn't work. So we closed a couple stores. So that was kind of that evolution. It ended up, we settled with the one store that was doing well. And by the end of that, that curve, 2011 or so, we sold that business to one of the employees.
Oh, nice.
I did that too. Same thing.
Awesome.
So that sounds
About the same year.
similar to the story. The whole arc follows.
I hear this all the time from our users too. It's super common. So.
Yeah, I had 3 stores, and I ended up getting rid of all of them about that little bit after you, but around there. Yeah.
So there's more in the middle. Like I was getting all these business referrals, so I started All In Networks to handle the business side. I had separate corporation, separate branding, and went after the businesses that way. So that's an MSP business that's still around, managing 500 endpoints.
You still run that?
I don't operate it.
You don't operate it, yeah.
No, we haven't found a buyer yet, but I'm not involved. It's just kind of running with an employee.
As is.
Yeah.
So when did the seed of RepairShopr begin? How did that start?
So my wife gets all the credit for this, Desiree. We were having a negotiation season with one of our big clients in the MSP business, and they represented like 80% of our revenue. They're giving us $25,000 a month or something. Like, this is a big MSP contract. Mm-hmm. And they basically said, you need to take your price down by 60% or we're going to get rid of you.
Jeez.
And it was hard. Like, that was a lot of our revenue, and it was a good client that we had many years of history with. So it was stressful for months. So Desiree was out like researching what else can we be doing, because it was like really stressing us out, like not able to sleep well at night over a holiday season. It was really bad. And she literally found a meetup that was like how to make an Android app in 10 weeks, a free meetup.
Nice.
And started finding all these meetups like that. And we went to them, and I made an Android app, and I was like, oh, programming, isn't as hard as it was in college when I was learning C. Like, there's actually better languages now that are much easier. So, I mean, that's kind of how it started. Started just programming, goofing around, making some things. And then I was like, hey, I need, for that computer repair business, I desperately want, after a job is done, to be able to automatically send an email to the customer 2 weeks later and be like, thanks for coming in. Let me know if I could improve anything, or let me know how things are going. And there was nothing to do that at the time. I also had a ticket system over here, an invoice system over here, and they wouldn't talk to each other. So double data entry and the automated email. So I just built like the jankiest little invoice and a little basic ticket thing, and it would automatically send an email. And, we didn't think it was going to turn into anything, but I just made the employees of the computer repair shop use it. And after we tried making other app companies, we started like a photo sharing site and all these things that didn't go anywhere, thinking like, we're going to be the next Instagram. No, that's not how that works. Those were all failing, and we were like, or she was like, hey, let's just make that app for Dr. PC Fix multi-tenant so that people can sign up for it, and we'll at least be able to put it on your resume and say it's like something we did.
Yeah.
So did that.
Start off as a cloud hosted thing, or
it was always on Heroku, the same host it's on now. Just because in Ruby on Rails, the language and framework that I picked up to use that, like all the tutorials, and the easy path is kind of, stick it on Heroku. It's like one command to deploy it to Heroku, and Heroku's a really cool host. So it's kind of just always there, and it's just grown from there. Still there though.
Nice. So what year did you make that? Or you started to?
Something like 2010 started learning programming. 2012, it had been in use for a couple of years in Dr. PC Fix, and we made it multi-tenant and put a link in TechNibble and started getting hundreds of signups a month.
Yeah.
From then on.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that's where some of the best products are born, is out of your own need. You're scratching your own itch, basically. And
totally.
you develop it and get the kinks out by using it yourself. And then, eventually now, when did you do anything special to say, okay, now it's ready to introduce to other people? Or did you just kind of open it up to people and hope for the best?
I was definitely very lean startup about it. It was multi-tenant, and I put a link out saying, try at your own risk. I was like, every person that wrote anything or commented anything or emailed me, like I was on it. I was talking to the initial users. It didn't have a billing system. Like there was no way to pay me for the first 4 months. Like I wasn't going to build a billing system if no one was going to sign up and use it. So, but I had these users like, hey, this is really cool. Let me pay you, please. And I was okay. I'm not just going to let them PayPal me. I'm going to build the billing integration now. And then we had some people start paying. So it was very much like just put out the very minimum, see if someone wants it, and then we've been super keen on listening to the feedback from the user base. It was very much like I'm building everything I want. If I find a shiny new toy that I want to hook in, like I hook it in, and if someone else suggests a shiny toy that sounds cool, we'll put it in.
Nice.
That's very much been that way.
Yeah, I remember hearing about you folks online a few years ago, and when things start getting the buzz, it takes a while sometimes. I don't see a lot of products come out and just be the awesome thing from the beginning. There's a lot of underground work, and you probably did what I did when I started selling my ebooks was I gave them away for free.
It was definitely free at first, and then everyone that signed up in those first 6 months got like a year free or something.
Nice.
There was always the free tier, and even like turning it into a business from people wanting to pay, like that's not a business either. When the first couple people wanted to give $100 a month, like you can't live on that. So it was from then. I had a job, so I have Dr. PC Fix, all in networks, and Desiree got me a job at a job fair as a Rails programmer. So I'm working at Urban Spoon and doing this on the side.
Oh, cool.
And when it got to like $2,000 a month in revenue is when Desiree started talking to Robert, like, hey, you should really join us. This is probably like a real thing now. And he was like, sure, you have to quit your job and we have to do this full time. So that was kind of when it was like, okay, real business now. $2,000 a month was kind of the point where I told Desiree all along, like when it gets to that, it's like, it's a real business. If it gets to 2, it's going to get to 5 and you can live off it. Like we need to just really do it.
Who's Robert? To explain to the
Oh yeah. So he was a key person at one of our MSP IT clients and we stayed friends with him over the years. And he's got a cool background. He built a Facebook game company back when Facebook games were just becoming a cool thing and they became big and sold to Disney. And so we kind of just thought of him as a mentor and we'd ask him advice and he'd analyze our, computer repair business. And we stayed in touch, and Desiree, being the networker and people person she is, was able to convince him to join us. He had been between things, after that sale. He was looking for something to do for a year. And so she was like, hey, come join us. So he's like a friend and was a mentor, and now we're partners.
Nice. That's awesome. So he's with you 100%.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He wanted to be CEO. I think of myself as like tech and operations. Like I can hook in a ticket system and design a process, but I'm not like the one to go talk to VCs or whatever. Like so, and he's very much like everybody likes him.
Yeah. I bet he's from that what I call the Palo Alto guys. He fits
in with all of those. All that are he fits in with everybody. I'm much more of a tech person. I go to a tech conference and I can talk to all those people. He can talk to anybody. So it seems like a really good fit for him to be CEO, and I'll just do the tech stuff.
So I'm curious about it sounds like a great story, and it was a slow start, and it's grown quite well
organically.
But I'm sure there's been some stumbling blocks or some bumps in the road, especially when you're trying to scale and trying to grow a business and bring on employees. So I'm just curious, what in your mind were some of the bigger obstacles that you had to figure out how to overcome as you guys were growing?
It's going to sound hard to believe, but there really hasn't been any in this business.
Awesome.
We had a million trials and tribulations in Dr. PC Fix and in all the networks, and a lot of, waking up in the middle of the night kind of stuff. But in RepairShopr, we've just been like lucky. There was a period of time in 2014 where we had a number of small outages. That was pretty stressful, but it just seems like ancient history now. It was, yeah, when you're growing from one account to thousands of accounts, and you don't know how to program like me. I was just total self-taught, like no idea what I'm doing. But had built this thing that a lot of people are using. So yeah, we had some scaling issues. 2014, there was probably 9 months where, we were going down 5 or 10 minutes at a time, a few times a month. That was pretty stressful.
Yeah.
There's consultants you can talk to get through that. We ended up paying Heroku to help us and finding consultants out on the internet on Odesk to jump in and inspect and look at things. And
yeah,
we ended up figuring it out with a combination of a consultant and our host.
So it's mainly just technical scaling issues.
Yeah. So still to date, we've been like total organic growth. People just Google repair shop software or whatever, computer repair shop software, and we're like totally dominating Google for that.
That's nice.
And we've had great word of mouth from communities like TechNibble because we listen to people, and when a bunch of people say something's broken, we fix it.
It's so simple when you say it, but like, so many companies don't take that approach. They try to grow too quickly, and they try to push what they think is best onto the consumers. Whereas I think, and you're a testament to this, a smooth growth happens when you listen to the clients, when you build for the people who are going to be using your software, and you grow organically. And I think that's kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think the key is definitely like scratching your own itch. You hear this from everyone, but it's totally true. If I was trying to design something for lawyers or something, like you'd have no idea, and you build something and it wouldn't resonate. And it's really rare that it does. So yeah, just knowing the ins and outs of the business from doing it for a number of years, if someone comes and suggests a feature, I just instantly, intuitively know if it fits in, if it's going to have, wide appeal. I know the space really well. So it just makes everything kind of naturally very smooth.
Yeah. I could tell you guys have been jumping in on the forums and stuff, lately too, or not lately, but for a while. And, when you get your own threads that get thousands of views, that's a good thing, because that's, I've seen some businesses start up with just one thread that ends up being 20,000 replies and views. And
oh yeah, like the D7 awesome. Thread in TechNibble are really popular. That one I was always like, whoa, mind blown.
I remember from the beginning, it was like the last time I think I saw it live was 47,000 views.
The D7 Thread?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's important to, as a business owner or a founder or someone who represents the business, to be a part of the community you're serving.
Yeah.
And I think so.
And not, be salesy, because there's a lot of guys that come in who are like the sales guys or the marketing guys who come in after the business is established and try to fit in. But you can see through that, right? You can tell that they're just there to try to pitch their product.
Totally.
And I think that makes a big difference when you're involved in the community, you're a part of the community, and you just try to help folks.
Yep. Totally agree.
Oh, we've seen a lot of those people come and go.
Yep.
I've been there 6.5 years, and let me tell you that I've kind of kept my eye on a lot of stuff. And, there's been a lot of things that come and go. Some stay. I think for those that are watching, Troy was part of our Black Friday group. And that group is a pretty solid group. It's been together, and no one's going away in that group for the most part. Good group.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, really quick, the computer business breakthrough. The purpose of this training is to get folks who are doing break fix computer repair who feel like they're not able to grow it, or they're feeling overwhelmed or stressed out, kind of like where all of us were when we were running break fix. We're trying to help those folks figure out how to find a niche, how to dominate that niche, either through services or products or both. So we'd like to kind of get your thoughts on how your mindset or some of the benefits you've found from, going from break fix to more of a product or more of a niche kind of service. What has that done for you as far as your lifestyle, as far as your well-being, I guess?
Totally. I'll try and have my thoughts a little bit organized here, but there's a couple elements there. There's, for me, getting the time to be able to focus on something besides the business could only happen if the business was basically automated, like it was running itself. So from 2009, like a long time ago, a focus when we were having the multiple stores in Dr. PC Fix was, let's try and have some systems in place. You know, we're not going to do it as good as McDonald's, but let's have some protocols in place where the employees can just do their thing and we don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. And we can focus on other things. We can focus on growing the business or whatever. So, you know, for years, Dr. PC Fix would do, you know, a few $100,000 a year, and we would just show up every Friday and like pull the money out of the cash drawer and, you know, do the deposits. Like the employees could open the store, do all the repairs, close the store. It was pretty smooth. The only time I'd ever have to get involved was like a major customer service incident.
Okay, so lucky.
So that meant like, you know, that business would, you know, out of that money after paying everyone, I'm still making like $50,000 or whatever, like not getting rich off it, but I had all my time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that could afford me to go learn programming or do the MSP business or do whatever else I wanted. So I think definitely like once you can barely afford it, like get an employee in and try and get yourself some time. If you enjoy talking to all the customers and doing all the repairs yourself and can't let that go to an employee, like then that kind of means you're doing what you want to be doing, and that's just, you've got a job. You're doing the computer repair. If you want to go on to another thing, you have to delegate 100% of everything. You have to like get out of the day-to-day, right? And, you know, free yourself up to have the time to do that. Or
maybe have enough money saved up.
Yeah. If you can save a year of runway or whatever it takes you, a year of your expenses, you can totally do it that way. Mm-hmm.
Never heard that.
You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all the business advice is like, you know, if you can't step away from the business, you don't have a business. You've got a job, and that kind of resonated with me. Like, I want to be able to go to Mexico with my wife for a month and not worry about the business, and that is the kind of business we built in Dr. PC Fix and all our networks and RepairShopr. We still do that.
Nice.
And that's kind of what RepairShopr helps computer techs do, is automate a lot of their processes and their back end stuff so that they can automate a lot of things, create processes around a lot of things. And
you know what the status of everything. You've got a color code. You know, one of the big benefits we didn't know that was going to come out of the business was when it was time to sell it. You know, all the data was right there and organized and structured. It's really hard to sell a computer repair business when it's like, oh yeah, here's my address book from my phone, and you know, we get 50 calls a week. So, and look at my QuickBooks. There's like, you know, here's all the invoices. Like that doesn't tell you enough of a story to command the right sale price for that business. It doesn't tell enough of the story. But when you've got something like RepairShopr or RepairShopr specifically, when a new employee comes in, they just see what to do. You've got a ticket system. You've got a list of work. It's ordered. It's color coded. Green is good. Red is bad. You know, start working on stuff. If it turns red, go click it.
Very interesting. Yeah, a lot of people, you know, their goal is to sell a business sometimes, and some other times it's just okay to do something else, you know. Yeah. Like I'm a consultant now. Years ago, I had a business. Now I have a consulting business. It's totally different.
Yep.
It's not the same thing because you can't buy me. I've been asked. I'm like, yeah, you can't. Not really.
Totally.
So I mean, yeah. So I like that advice there, Troy. You know, it's not just something you can do overnight. And Matt and I are not working on this video series for people to just go, oh, I'm going to drop what I'm doing right now. Because Matt and I have already shared a lot of stories, and it took us a couple years to get to this level of breaking out of what we did, you know, and that's why everybody's story is very unique. You know,
yeah, I'd second that. I'd say it took a couple years to transition. And if you're focusing on it, I think, you can do that too.
Yeah. So when did you officially sell the Dr. PC Fix?
I want to say it was something like 2012. It was after doing RepairShopr full time soon after.
Yes.
And we sold it for basically like a 1x multiple of gross profit or something. Yeah.
Three comma club at least, right? That's a joke.
No.
3 million.
1 comma.
It's a joke. You don't know that joke? Go Google it. 3 comma club.
I will.
It's like from Silicon Valley. the radio show.
I have not seen that series yet.
You'd love it. You got to check it out. You guys are all in that thing that's going on that show, but not to get off track. But
yeah, we're totally a tech startup, and we like identify with those people, but we're not in Silicon Valley. We don't have VCs. We're not worried about burn rates and all that junk. We're just a normal business. As money comes in, we decide to spend it on growing, and so yeah, we're a tech startup in that sense, but not like any of those businesses.
4 years. So where are you guys located? Where's your office?
We're in Seattle. I'm in my office right now. It's in WeWork. It's a fancy, hip co-working space. So we just pay per desk, and it's month to month. So, very lean startup. No big release until we require it. And
do you have employees?
Yeah, we've got 12 employees now.
Nice.
Great. Do they work in the same office area, or are they all just kind of scattered?
5 of us are in WeWork most of the week, and then a bunch of people work from home. We've got a couple of remote people, like over in Ukraine.
Yeah, outsourcing is sometimes the way to go with what you guys are doing, because a lot of it's programming and it's global. It could be.
I started it, and I did most of the building for the first couple of years, but I'd get into a problem that I couldn't figure out, like a performance problem, and I'd get on Odesk, and I don't care where you are. I'm posting a thing saying I need performance help, and the resume that stands out as someone that's awesome happened to be in Ukraine, so it's like, sure, hey, and it's worked out. That is kind of an art and a skill, the hiring offshore people. I had done a ton of little one-off hobby things before getting someone to work on RepairShopr. I could probably do a whole video on that, with maybe 100 completed projects before RepairShopr on something like Odesk or Upwork or Rent-A-Coder for that. But yeah, it definitely can work.
I'd love to hear that story, because I have a lot of ideas for things I could use offshore. And I believe in offshore. I mean, you know what? I mean, to me, it's everything we do is the internet now. My whole business is internet. I don't have one location. So, I mean, to me, offshore is just hiring global people, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure in your consulting time, even doing computer repair or now, someone will say something like, I just wish there was a tool to do this, some little thing. And you're like, well, for $3,000, I could probably get that done for you. And, just have the risk taking ability to hey, I'm going to try this, and go write up a spec. I think it should work like this, and pay someone to build it. And most of them never were profitable, but they were fun. I had fun doing them.
Look at your little idea, what it turned into. 12 people, and you've got a nice running business now, and you can live comfortably and take vacations for a month. The dream.
Yeah.
No, the question is, what's the next dream, Troy? You sound like an entrepreneur.
I think of myself, I enjoy business. I think starting businesses are fun. But I don't have another idea right now. This one, anything I can imagine that would be like a fun toy for this is like another integration we can build in. And we're going to keep building RMM integrations. And, I looked at Zapier, and there's some really cool stuff that can do. So we went and built that integration. It's like every new integration just makes the product so much more versatile and work for so many more, industries. It feels like there's no end in sight ever for how big this thing can get.
I keep seeing more things being added on, and just to be fair, I don't work with any managed services anymore, so I haven't kept up with those products so much. And because I don't use them, I have to keep up with my own for Outlook. But I just keep seeing things you guys are doing, and I'm like, I have no idea how they run, but I know people love it. If you want to take a few seconds and tell everybody what, everything RepairShopr does, you're more than welcome.
Okay. Maybe just I think people know the basics. Like it's a ticketing and invoicing app, and there's a lot there. I think more recently, like in the last year, we've made the inventory like world class with serialized inventory. So people that are really inventory heavy can use it now. Mm-hmm. And we've done a lot of focus on MSPs. So there's SLAs and contracts and really cool automated billing. So in my MSP business, for example, there's 400 devices under management and new devices coming on all the time. And our model was billing per device per month. There was never a way to automate that I could find. So RepairShopr does now have that. Just a few weeks ago, you can make a recurring invoice that bills based on the quantity of assets the customer has of any given type. So, automated billing for metered offsite backup with Cloudberry, automated billing for MSPs with the asset counting stuff. So we're really trying to make it good enough where an MSP can really run their business and a repair shop can really run their business. And we don't know what's next, but maybe some cool scheduling stuff for people that are more field service heavy. Nice. But there's a lot. We try and cover it in YouTube videos. We're much better at building the features than we are communicating them.
That's tough, yeah.
We're working on that. Like our blog has change blog posts that are just full of cool stuff, and unless you go read all those, it's really hard to find out what all the software can do.
Yeah, but the blogs are my favorite thing. It gets the internet. So that's marketing.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Matt. Well, Matt, do you got any final questions?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It's great to hear from someone who started out as a computer repair tech and focused on building a product that solves a problem that actually existed. And you did, it's great to hear that you did it part-time for a while, because I know a lot of the folks listening to this are going to be interested in maybe dabbling with creating a product or productizing their services maybe. And it's not something you have to jump in both feet and quit your business and just throw caution to the wind and start it up. You can slowly grow it part-time and always run it part-time if you want. We've talked to folks who run their product totally part-time, or you can turn it into a 12-employee business, and it's
you never know.
There, yeah.
Well,
a little bit of luck and keep trying.
It is a great story, and we're finding out that there's like a lot of times people don't know these stories. So those that are watching this video, as maybe an introduction to the computer business breakthrough, there's more stories in our subscription model. So thank you for watching, and thank you, Troy, for being on and telling your story. Anything else, Matt? I think I've already asked.
Nope, that's it. So thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video in the computer business breakthrough. Thanks again, Troy. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Troy. See ya.